Hello and welcome to Confidently Wrong, a show by regular dudes talking with confidence about content we have no right to speak about with any kind of authority, but do it anyway. I'm Wesley Nakamura, and as always, I'm joined by award-winning director Brian Redondo and Savon Jones, aka Captain Bonnie. This is episode 116, and we talk about what we're loving this week. I'm confident that it's going to be the best show you've ever listened to, and well, hey, if it's not, you can always ask us for a refund.
Incredible!
Hello, gentlemen. Welcome back. It's another episode. Good times. Last time we talked about The Flash, and I hated it. But we're moving on to much lighter fare.
Sounds like you haven't moved on. But okay.
You hate stuff for the wrong reasons. That's what impresses me.
The palate cleanser, the little sorbet after your dinner. That's what this is. And we don't have any new shows and movies coming out just yet that we've seen. So we're going to do a what we're loving. But on the horizon, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Warrior is coming out. Elemental is out. Secret Invasion will be on Disney Plus in a little bit.
Oppenheimer and Barbie coming out.
Barbie, boo on that.
Oppenheimer.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming out. Transformers is coming out. So we'll try and see some of those things, and we'll bring them into the next shows. They just haven't come out yet. So we can't.
You
can't
are
go
our
see
audience. Tell us
yet.
what we should go see. I'm curious to
Ooh.
see what they say.
They're probably going to tell us to go see.
Yeah. Oh, new Black Mirror season
Black
came out.
Mirror.
New episode came out
That's
the other
right.
day. I gotta watch that.
Oh, and then what was that movie that you wanted to see, Savon? It was like Blackified.
The Blackening is coming out. The Blackening, which I think I might go see that tomorrow.
I'm
Ooh,
really
I
into
wanna hear
They Clone Tyrone, which I've started to see trailers
I gotta
for.
go see that.
Looks
Yeah, that's
really
with
great.
is that with like Jamie Foxx and John Boyega?
Oh, and I'm seeing trailers for that
Yeah.
movie you want to see, Brian, the Jennifer Lawrence comedy.
No Hard Feelings. That's coming out soon.
Yeah. No hard
Yeah.
feelings.
I don't
There's
know
a
if
lot
I'm going
out
to be
there.
excited about that
So
one.
they got.
It looks up and down. Yeah. Oh, and the Mission Impossible one. I kind of want to go see that.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be ridiculousness all over the place. Anyways,
By the way, Wes, I just want to give a Tom Cruise tie-in right there. Tom Cruise, I read, actually reached out to the director of The Flash and said, that was everything you want in a movie.
what?
Tom Cruise's take on The Flash.
Tom Cruise.
He's just out here trolling Wes.
Well, I'm
Ooh, I have such a good joke we'll make after off the
apparently I'm anti-team Tom now because that's a horrible take. There's been a lot of people online on like Twitter and stuff that have liked it and said this is a great movie. And there's also a lot of people on Twitter who are like, this is the worst piece of garbage I've seen. There doesn't seem to be anybody who's in the middle.
People on Twitter don't know how to enjoy things. First of all, people on the internet don't know how
But
to
some
enjoy
people love
anything.
it. Some people are like, this is great. And I don't see where they're coming from at all, even though you guys tried
that
to
should speak
explain
for
it to me.
itself.
All right.
You don't even understand why people liked it. You don't have to like it, but you don't understand why
I
people
don't
liked
understand
it?
why people like this movie.
Good God.
He had little flip down goggles. For what reason? Okay. Anyways, Savon, what are you loving this week?
Yeah, man. So when we did one,
Love the
Let's
sound
change
effects.
the tone. Let's just
So,
love things right now.
so most people who know me of my video game habits know that growing up I've been huge into fighting games my entire life. I'm a lifelong Smash Brothers player, Tekken player, Soul Calibur,
Ooh,
Marvel
Soul
vs.
Calibur.
Capcom. Yeah, I'm on MVC.
Quickly, can we get your top
I played
three?
a lot of fighting games over
Can we
the
get your
years.
top 3 fighting games real quick?
Just
Just so we can level set.
talking about let's just I played
In no-
Mortal Kombat.
in
Let's
no
just do
order.
the series. For me, Tekken is the top. Yeah, I mean Tekken's probably my favorite fighter of all time, just because it's 3D movement, sidestepping, it's cinematic, it's really flashy, and there's lots of fighting styles. Soul Calibur has a special place in my heart because it's the same people who made Tekken, but there's weapons and it's more fantastical.
Cervantes.
I think Tekken has better gameplay, but Soul Calibur is more fun to watch. Like people with axes and swords fighting, it's just going to be always a little more cool than like martial artists, right? But they're both amazing. I'm a huge Marvel vs. Capcom fan. Has a special place in my heart because it plays like a Street Fighter on drugs. Lots of lasers, attacks, and then a lot of cool Marvel characters,
yeah.
frankly, appeared in these games way before, Iron Man was in Marvel vs. Capcom before Iron Man was even he was like a B-list, C-list Marvel character at the time, right? Thanos was in these games before, decade plus before we got it in the movies. Characters like Hawkeye, Rocket Raccoon. So Marvel have always been a fan in that regard. But those are some of my favorites. That being said, I never was a big Street Fighter player.
Interesting.
I always played around it and was adjacent to it. But there's just
Street
so
Fighter
many
2
games.
Turbo,
There's only so many you can
baby.
No, and I used to play it and I used to know how to play it because Marvel vs. Capcom has similar controls and Street Fighter characters appear in the game. So I know about the moves, the characters. I just never got into it because there's a lot of fighting games.
I only know the noises the characters
fighting
make.
games have been making a huge comeback in the last few years. Yeah, Shoryuken, Tatsumaki Zanpukia, Hadouken. Come on, man. That's still my jam. But
Yoga
so
Flame.
So my fighting game itch was getting tickled recently, and Tyler bought Street Fighter, and I said, you know what? I've been hearing good things about this game. It's been getting really hyped up. Capcom has a pretty good track record of dense games they put out generally. I got the new Street Fighter. It's my first Street Fighter game for real.
Oh, ever.
And I am having, like I said, I've played it casually. I've never bought a Street Fighter. I've always bought Tekken, Soul Calibur, all the others. So I bought this new Street Fighter 6, and it's amazing. The biggest issue fighting games have is that the barrier of entry is really high and it's not very casual friendly. There's people who've been playing Street Fighter, Brian, for what, almost 40 years
I can't
now?
play with any of those people.
I want you to really put that in perspective.
It's impossible. Yeah.
There have been people who've been playing Street Fighter for not almost 30 years, well over 30 years. And that's fine and dandy. But naturally, it just means that it gets really hard to get newer people
and
into
the
these
gameplay
games.
hasn't changed much,
This
right?
Street Fighter is one of the most... the core gameplay remains the same, but I will give props that they do a good job of innovating and adding new mechanics from game to game so that they are fresh. This game has a lot of cool fight mechanics that really do make the game, honestly, really challenging and fun and cerebral, and it's enough to where casuals can enjoy it, but if you're a sweat lord, there's still just as much to learn and master as any other Street Fighter. So what makes this one different is that there is a create a character mode and there's a single player campaign. It's not the most deep or super beautiful, but you saw it a little bit when I shared my screen with you, Brian. You make your own character. They give you full creative control over them in terms of body proportions. You can make them look really realistic body proportion types or make them look like a effing action figure or a Stretch Armstrong, or I've seen some ridiculous character builds people make.
So they brought NBA 2K
in the story
into
mode,
Street
you're
Fighter?
in different little cities.
My neighborhood.
Yes, but all of the best parts. Not the predatory money gambling casino type stuff. More so, you're in a single player world. You talk to characters. You can pick fights. You can learn from other Street Fighter characters as your master and mentor, which is their way of you leveling up your character, expanding your moveset. You can fully customize their clothes, and the clothes have stats. So it's a little bit of a little mini RPG thing, but ultimately the fights are done in a fighting game context. And it's fun. It's challenging, but if you're new to fighting games, it's easy. They do a good job of kind of drip feeding the mechanics to you so that you're not overwhelmed with all the crap that you have to learn in a fighting game. The tutorials are top tier in terms of telling you fighting game terminology that people normally don't know what that is. If I told you what an overhead is, you wouldn't know what that meant.
No idea.
But the game does a good job of having an overhead is a attack that is meant to specifically hit someone if they're crouching low. No, because you hit them over their head. But an important term in fighting games, the game breaks that down and explains it. It's the kind of game, Brian, where, and I said this to you before, right? You could buy this game and start playing it and have a shit ton of fun and not have to necessarily worry about just the god tier Street Fighter guys who still have been playing this game for decades. There's still room for you to have fun.
Well, because
in the creative mode lets you have custom move sets, so you can pick.
Because you're just basically fighting the computer in the solo mode. Is it?
Yeah, you're fighting. Yeah, it's a fully single player mode. But some of the fights are still hard. But there's items you can do, there's stats you can upgrade. You can pick different characters' fighting styles, but then add different special moves from different people. So you actually can have a really cool, unique character. So you can make someone who, fights like Zangief, the big wrestler guy, but still has a Hadouken like Ryu and can still do other moves from different, or maybe still do a yoga flame or something.
Oh, that's kind of awesome.
But then there's still your classic Street Fighter modes too. It's really fun. Tyler and I spent a bunch of time with our creator characters fighting with just our unique move sets. But I'm also playing ranked online where I'm just picking the classic characters where it's more standardized and getting that old school Street Fighter experience too. But the biggest thing is that the game is just so user friendly, man. There's tutorials across the board. There's like the character tutorials tell you everything you need to know about how to play someone. Like Brian, you could pick up the game and yeah, you still got to learn how to get good at the game, but the barrier of entry could not be lower than it was. You know, back in the day, and I don't mean to be like, oh, back in my day type, but fighting games did not have super great tutorials historically. I'm serious. Fighting game tutorials were not
have to
always
look up
great.
the move list.
Back in the day,
you just look at the list and try to memorize it.
No, but it's not even just the move. Yeah, but you know, in fighting game communities, you know what moves are good, what moves are safe. You have people who know frame data. If you wanted important fighting game stuff at high level, you had to go deep into the internet, or you had to actually be playing real life people who know the game in and out. Those, you know, ones who've been playing forever. But that's not easy. You know, that's not easy for someone who's younger, who's a kid who lives in a rural area. Street Fighter's finally caught up with the modern era where they have fleshed out tutorials, and that combined with online resources makes this game very easy to learn and pick up.
So I gotta ask,
and I
gotta ask. So does your solo mode character look like you, or look like someone you want to be?
No, it always looked like me. I even made him, and not like, you know, maybe a little bit more in shape than I am, but like I made a tall, slim black dude with cornrows and glasses.
Is his name Stretch?
Who uses Zangief's fighting style and is running around pile driving and body slamming people. And it is glorious.
So you're living out your fantasy.
Yes, you know, now my dude got on some track pants and like a black tee.
This is just your fantasy of walking down the street,
fighting,
and pile driving strangers at the grocery.
And the pick fight, and the pick with NPCs in the streets, y'all saw. Yeah, and you can just pick fights with random NPCs. You can get the first lick. So like, I'll walk up to a random person and just grab them in the little open mode, do a spinning pile driver, and then that initiates the fight.
Oh my god.
So sometimes it's like it's all the NPCs are like all kinds of the full spectrum of what humans can look like. So sometimes the character walking up the street is like an old lady, and I see the old lady, I'm like, oh, I need some experience. And she might have a high level, but I'm gonna go up and pile drive her, and then it's like fighting, we going at it. Or sometimes it's this big buff dude or a sumo wrestler or a businessman, but everybody can get it. These hands are ready to E for everyone. It's a very E for everyone. Wes, I don't know if you like it because I don't think you're into fighting games like that.
I like playing them like at like friends' houses and to play. But
yeah, I could see you enjoying the single player mode and that enough being fun. And obviously, the real root of the game is still its PvP. Like that's ultimately where like people are going to be playing. But I think it's way more accessible for newer people now. And most importantly, oh my god, I can't believe I forgot this. The net code is top tier. The biggest issue fighting games have also had historically is that online gaming is the norm now. People don't meet up in person at gaming cafes and stuff and have setups to do fighting game tournaments. In a way, they still do, but like
that's not the majority.
Online is the standard these days, right? Exactly. And fighting games, especially even like 10, 12 years ago when I had online fighters, I never played online because the net code just wasn't good enough to keep up with your inputs. And anyone who's played a fighting game knows that it's very technically precise. You might actually only have one frame to do an input. You know, if it's 60 frames per second, you have a 60th of a second or of a window to do blah, blah, blah. So it's extremely unforgiving, right? And the net code is amazing. Like every other game I've played in my life, fighting game wise, I could sense a little bit of the lag or, I can sense a little bit of a delay and you got to live with it. I'm playing people all over the world. I was playing Tyler, across the country. And I've almost only in dozens of games, I've only had a handful, if that, where, my connection is bad and it's affecting my performance. So they've really caught up with the internet of making this. When I lose, I don't lose because I feel like, oh my God, my connection sucked. I couldn't get my move out. I lost because this other person had hands and he beat my ass. And that's always how it is in person. And they've brought that feeling to where I'm in the comfort of my own home, which was, I never thought fighting games would get this far.
We don't want you pile driving your router. Like, that's not the outcome we want here.
Yeah. Only thing I miss though is that playing in person, the trash talking
psychological
game is a little bit different.
I
don't think so. And you know what? That's probably for the best. But boy, in person, man, I love the psychological warfare. Looking at people, looking at them funny, not necessarily talking shit, but just you beat somebody bad. Hey, good job. Good round. You did your best.
You did
Just,
your
you know.
best.
Oh man,
Harsh.
Yes, the psychological warfare is the part I miss.
Nice. Is that it for your what we're loving?
Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still loving Street Fighter. I've been playing
Nice.
ranked, and the game is starting. I'm getting honestly, man. It sucks because I just fighting games are so fun for me that I just get sucked into them like an abyss, and I'm like, ah, crap. I like this game, and I know what I want to get good at, and getting better at and beating people is really fun.
As long as you're not sucker
have to show
punching
some
people
strength.
at the grocery in real life, then we're good.
Oh no! Come on, fighting games are my outlet for the things I know I can't do in real life. Not just of the social acceptableness of power driving someone, but also me just physically not being able to. So there's a lot of barriers of entry for me doing this in real life.
Fair enough. You can't shoot like fireballs out of your hands. Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
If
Not
only.
yet.
You haven't tried hard enough. Keep practicing. All right. Well, in a
Noted.
similar boat though, summer for teachers, right, is kind of way less, loaded with things to do. I mean, some teachers do a lot of stuff, but I'm not one of those teachers. I like to unplug as much as possible during summer.
Are you on that unemployment?
Like, amazing. What's up?
Are you on that unemployment for the summer?
Basically, no, I mean, I don't get paid like an unemployed, but I don't have any responsibilities, which is great. And I don't take on like a whole lot of things. Like you could do summer school, you could take on another job, you could do a lot of planning for the next year. And I'll do a little bit of planning for next year, but not yet. So this summer has just been me like unplugging and recovering from the year. So it's been pretty cool. Like there's a lot of stuff to watch. There's a lot of stuff to play. There's a new cycling sports documentary on Netflix, which is cool. It talks about the Tour de France, which, if you're not someone who's into cycling, watch this show. It's kind of like the new version of Drive to Survive, which has a lot of viewers. We just finished up with the NBA Finals, which had some amazing basketball, both offensively and defensively, actually. It was really, really good. Avatar 2 came out on Disney+, so I watched that. It was fine. I was entertained, I guess. Yeah, it's also kind of boring.
Man said, I guess it was kind of boring. What is wrong
with
you?
Probably on your TV, it's not going to be great to watch. I bet.
Yeah, I think when you guys said like the visuals were good, the visuals were really good. I mean, way better than The Flash, but yeah, like it looked realistic. I never once felt like it wasn't.
When taking a shot at Avatar, you still also take a shot at Flash.
I never.
You're like,
it was very believable.
Yourself.
And the Tulkut, the whale type of things, that was pretty cool. How they had like, I think Brian like made me remember this or look out for this, which like he was like they have their own society and their own rules, so they're not animals. They're actually like sentient, beings on the earth. So that was cool. Anyways, I've been listening to like way more audiobooks lately. So if you have some audiobooks I should listen to, let me know. I get them from the library for freezies. Video games,
keep
Marvel
going,
Snap. I've been hanging
going.
out with Kaya. Yeah, at the pool. Like I've been doing all sorts of things. It's been great. But I want to talk about Ted Lasso season 3. I finally caught up. It ended like a month ago. But I finally was able to watch it. Man, episodes 10 and 11, which are the second to last ones. There's an episode 12. But 10 and 11 were just like so emotionally enriching. They were deep. There was some what is it called when like things get better for you? Or like you like get redeemed. Oh, redemption. Great. So there was some redemption going on here.
We made it.
I don't know words sometimes. Well, sometimes the words in my brain, they're in there, but I gotta go find them for a while.
Brain's
the hard
on
drive
summer
has to
break.
spin up.
This
is all your problem though. This is not just summer. And it was just, I know Brian, Ted Lasso isn't your favorite, but the tone and the enjoyment, the comedy, all of that, like I just really enjoy. There's some like really sweet moments. There's some like great moments in terms of characters coming to different realizations. They have to deal with some of the struggles that are just everyday life struggles. Like one of the things that's been happening over the course of the 3 seasons is like Ted Lasso is in England and his son lives in Kansas, I think, or something like that. And so it's a long distance relationship for him and his son, and he misses him quite a bit, over the course of the different series. And the son will sometimes be able to come to London, or they can FaceTime, but time differences just make that a really hard thing. And so that kind of comes up again in this season. Just all sorts of things. There was one guy in the second season who was a major dick. And in the third season, we get to see sort of the ramifications of that and see that character like change and grow a lot over the course of the season. I don't know if it felt super well earned because it sort of came out of left field that he was being a dick, but it was just a lot of stuff happening in the show, and I'm glad that they did it. Production value way up. I mean, they're playing like actual Premier League teams and stuff like that. They're actual like Premier League stadiums. So all that stuff was really good. I highly recommend it. 2 thumbs up. Ted Lasso season 3. Assuming you've watched season 1 and 2, don't just jump into season 3. That would be psychotic.
Does the Wrexham?
Where's this available again?
Apple TV Plus.
Does the Wrexham Club make an appearance? Because that seems like a perfect crossover between real life and fake life.
Wrexham just
oh no, don't spoil
announced
it.
Their new No. Wrexham announced their new shirt for next year, new jersey. And I bought it. Paid $70.
Oh my god.
It's only the shirt is only like $50, but then you got to have it shipped, and they charge you like $25 for shipping or something because it's coming from wherever in Europe they are.
Hey
Scotland,
man,
Wales. Wales.
No need to support them.
But whatever.
They got Ryan Reynolds money.
Yeah. But it's kind of a niche thing, right? Like you have to have watched the show. And so if I'm walking around and somebody else recognizes it, then we'll be like, oh, you like the show? And we're like, yeah, I like the show. I don't really care. The team is fine or whatever. But yeah. Good times. I'm done. Brian,
High five.
what's your 111?
I gotta find a way to get Apple TV Plus because
You should get Apple TV Plus.
everybody keep gassing up Ted Lasso. Just like
and there's a couple other. I mean, you can also just cancel at any time. It's like $6.99 a month, I think. Whatever. We'd have to talk about logistics now.
I think Wes,
you could do it.
Are you in the minority on season 3 of Ted Lasso? Because I've seen some reviewer headlines that are very skeptical about.
Savon says,
3.
"I don't care what other people say. You just got to go off of your own opinion."
I think that's true. Yeah, generally.
You just do it in the worst way. That's what be killing me. Listen to me, but in the worst part.
I don't know what people are saying about season 3. Actually,
just don't proselytize. Don't advocate for your own individual point of view, and we're good.
Yeah, because your point of view is stupid. Yeah, great. I got it, Savon. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. Have you been hearing that people haven't liked it?
Shut up.
Yeah, that like it's run its course. They kind of messed up some things, or they're saddled with a lot of stuff that just resulted in a very unsatisfying season. But I don't know. I don't watch it.
I didn't feel that way.
Wes gives it the seal of approval. The confidently
2
wrong
thumbs up.
seal of approval. There we go.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Wes, your opinion is the only one that should matter to you.
Wise words.
Let's turn this into life coaching for Wes. So Wes, even though you're totally wrong about the Flash,
hey,
I think it's great that you appreciate who you are and what you like. Anyway,
that sums up my entire relationship with Wesley Nakamura. Like, we joke a lot here because Wes, again, you be saying some shit. But damn it, if it's not your own original thought, and I told you, I respect the hell out of that. Salute, man.
I don't feel like these are compliments. I don't like this defense.
You're sticking your gun.
I want to be clear. No. Not everything you say. You have lots of very reasonable takes too, but the point is that I have wrong takes too, but the point is your wrong takes are completely original and respect. That's like this is a compliment. I want to be very clear.
It doesn't feel like a compliment.
Feeling
just
good
to
about
be
yourself.
clear.
It's like the opposite of me calling you a sheep.
All right.
Don't worry, Wes.
You walk your own path.
I'm about to give you a compliment because for my what we're loving.
I was giving him one.
I'm gonna give a true one. Oh, actually, maybe this is not true. we'll see how it comes out.
If it's up for debate,
it's under construction.
What are you about to say?
Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe this is backhanded. But what we're loving. In our previous episode, we mentioned that Wes and I finally spent IRL time together recently. We were on our boys trip, our annual boys trip. We went to Denver, Colorado. This trip had a new flavor though, because it included our nuclear families. So our one friend in Denver, right? He's got his significant other and 2 kids. I brought my spouse, I brought Anna, and then Wes, not only did he bring Jen, but he also brought baby of the show, Kaya, and who I met for the very first time, and she's a wonderful, adorable individual. But what I'm loving is not just, how great Kaya is. What I'm loving is Wes's parenting style, which is very like, let's just see what happens. Like, let the kid do what she do. And so I like, okay, just to give a little backstory here, I am very much used to my sister's kids, right? She's got 3 little ones. I'm very used to her parenting style, which is
3?
yeah, she's got a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1.5-year-old. She's got a lot to handle.
Damn,
She's rolling deep.
She got her own
all right?
basketball team.
So when she's
parenting.
parenting, let me tell you, like, she is not the parent, she is the servant. She is like, what do you want? What do you need? What do you need? Okay, I'm gonna give it to you. Okay, is that all right? Is that to your liking?
Yeah.
Is the milk too hot? Is
Making
it too
sure
hot?
that needs are
Is
met.
it too
they're
cold?
happy.
Should I adjust it for you? Oh, you're not entertained. Oh, let me get you something to entertain you. Oh, maybe I can entertain you. Okay, I'm the toy. I'll be the toy. I'm okay. I'm making you happy. I'm making you happy. Right? That is her. That is her strategy.
It's valid.
And that is the strategy that has pervaded my family. Like, so when I see my nieces and nephew, I am also put into that role where now
really?
I am the clown. I am the clown at the service of you children, and I shall entertain you in any way.
How long
you
is
want.
that fun for? Because you enjoy that
about
role
30 seconds.
Okay.
Until I realize I am now an indentured servant. Wesley, as a father, on the other hand, in stark contrast to my family, has said, like, hey, Kaya, you might be alone in the dark, crying in your bedroom, like, and you're supposed to be sleeping, but you're crying because you're all alone out in the world. But me,
in an
father
unknown room.
adult, in an unknown room, in an unknown house,
Yeah.
but me, father adult, I'm going to be just outside the door playing cards with my homies, and I'm not even going to go check on you because you can go deal with that on your damn self. Or I, the father, and now I'm going to let you ride this bicycle onto a curb. And I know you don't know how to ride a bicycle, but if you fall, you're going to catch yourself, and that's all right. And and the moment I started watching,
and she caught herself.
I saw her fall. She fell.
Wait, who's riding a bike?
Kaya is only 20.
How the hell can
She's
she ride
20
a bike?
months
How old
old.
is she?
She's
It's
only
a
20 months
bike.
old.
It's a stable
she
bike.
Is tiny.
It holds itself up. She is tiny.
She is very tiny. She's 20 months
but
old.
heavy.
She definitely does not know how to ride a bicycle. But
No.
Wes is like, all right, let's see what happens.
You want to try it.
Yeah, but if you fall, and let them fall, as long as you don't like entertain them, they usually be all right. And plus, aren't babies like made of rubber?
Very
anyway?
much made of rubber, yeah.
So
she saved it. So she went off the curb, saved that, like didn't fall, and then tried to take another couple of steps with the bike, and that's when she fell and went right over the top of the handlebars. But she did fine.
God.
Got right back up.
Over the handlebars, no helmet. Maybe her.
Hey, you know how you gotta know how to take a
maybe
lick.
her body is rubber, but I don't know what her head is made out of. I do know what concrete is made out of.
She didn't hit her head. She was
and those two things, little nerve wracking, but I appreciate
it's nerve wracking
Wes,
for me too.
I appreciate your approach to fatherhood, to parenting, because also at the end of the day, Kaya is her own person, and this little baby, this 20-month-old baby, can't really speak. I mean, yeah, she says some words. She can't fully communicate with words, but she can communicate with sign language, which was also such a revelation for me. I'm used to kids basically knowing how to say in sign language, like, I want more or please, right? Just like those two very simple things. Kaya, on the other hand, has a whole vocabulary of sign language. She does like
she got like 20 words now.
She does like airplane. She does
Y'all actually teaching her
biking.
ASL?
She does walking. She does.
It's more like Kaya ASL
eating. Like it's a lot. It is definitely more fully formed than I've seen from her contemporaries. Like those kids are now behind because Kaya's out here.
It's a good part. It's a good party trick.
It is a good party trick, and she'll run through them sometimes.
Yeah,
like a little, you know.
Oh yeah, she'll like
ASL
kind of like
dictionary.
Do like her own string out of a story that involves the words that she knows in ASL. So I'm here to say that is what I love. I am commending my friend Wesley for being
thanks, man.
A standout father, for letting her kid ride a bike when she probably shouldn't, and teaching her how to communicate when like most kids can't. That's amazing.
Yeah. No, why shouldn't she ride a bike? She can stand, she can sit on it. It was low.
There you go.
She power
don't listen to me. I'm not a father.
You got to
don't limit what she could become.
Wes is full of the teacher's belief in a young child's potential. She's not limiting. He's not limiting it.
Wes using that new game plus knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly like serious reasons why I choose to do it that way, and Jen mostly tries to do it that way as well. But it doesn't mean it's not terrifying. Like every time she walks up and down stairs, especially if they're hard, like oh my god, I just imagine her like falling backwards and just like hitting her head on every step as she hits the ground, and then like just knocking herself out or whatever. But
there's also some element of like
I try not to let
her
fear,
walk the stairs.
Yeah, like if she's
just be flash mode.
Yeah, if she's ready to try and she's careful about it, then like what we say is like she can do dangerous things carefully, and there's some guardrails in place. Like even I've been trying to teach her how to like navigate a street or a parking lot. Like she doesn't really know what's going on yet, but like we sit there and I say, wait, okay, I say, do you see any moving cars? Because I realized that when I say, do you see any cars? This was the first version, version 1.0, that like there were cars in her vision, but those aren't the important cars. So now I've changed it to, do you see any moving cars? Which she doesn't know the word moving, but like maybe she'll pick it up on context one day. And then she scans. She does a little like John Travolta like scan. And then sometimes she
like
only does 90 degrees
scan?
of her view. So I have to, yeah. So I have to like sprinkler her head more, to get her whole field of vision. And then she says no sometimes, like, no, I don't see any cars. Okay, great. So then I say, is it all clear? And she says all clear. And then we walk, The reason for that is she doesn't really like to hold our hands when she's in a parking lot or in the street. So I'm like, well, if you're not going to hold my hand, then you better know like how to cross the street appropriately and not get ran the fuck over.
But that's the thing.
Y'all not going to pull rank on that one?
That's the thing. She's
because
independent.
It ends up being that she like pulls. Yeah, she like ends up pulling her arm, and like then you go nowhere because you can't pull her arm out of her socket. And it shouldn't be that like she's every single time we're doing something that she's screaming and then I pick her up, right? Like I could pick her up, and if it's a dangerous situation, I would, but it can't always be that like that you're not respecting her wishes too to like try it, right? And to do something. So it's like, okay, well, if you want to do this, then I got to teach you to do it in a way that's not going to get you killed. So, let's do this. Dang. So that was my thought on that. It's just like, hey, if you feel like you're not holding hands and you're ready to do it on your own, then you better fucking have the tools to do it. So,
dang. Kai got a parent respecting her wishes.
I'm trying.
Youth must be nice. He said, "Must be." I mean,
sometimes
nice.
You got to take the bath. I don't really care. Sometimes you got to go to bed, even though, like you say, you don't want to go to bed. But,
I'm surprised you don't pull rank more.
Yeah, I mean, you got to, but if it's not hurting somebody, like okay, like let's try and figure out a way through that.
Ooh,
the best.
Papa Nakamura doing
the
that
best
work.
Part about this relationship, though, is that means that the rest of us can live our lives in the presence of Kaya, which is not the case with a lot of kids. It's like suddenly they become heliocentric. Lunch. They become the center of the universe.
She chill. You can take her out places. She like got home training.
For the most part.
Oh, is Kaya
here? At lunch she was sort of needy, so I had to take her on like a walk during lunch. Yeah, exactly, right. It wasn't a big deal, but she sat there for the beginning of lunch and ate with us and did whatever. Oh, it was fine. I mean, she doesn't freak out. I think partly it's helpful we don't give her screens, so she's not expecting everything to like change every single second. Our friend's wife gave her some like building blocks, and she like played with that forever. Yesterday she was playing with that for like 15 minutes straight. So the kid's, obsessive. She's got some attention span.
Oh, where did she get
the
that
blocks
from?
in the other blocks. Yeah, trying to put the other blocks and take them out and then put them back. Take them out, put them back.
It's not lost on me that she does not have screens in her face, but someone else in her family does. A lot of them, all the time.
It's duality. You got to balance.
Hey,
things
I
out.
want better for her.
Wes just
I don't
gave
want
us the
I don't want her to
list.
fall into the traps that I'm in.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
My dad smoked cigarettes, and he was just like, "Hey, don't smoke." I'm like,
exactly.
Cool.
Exactly. You see, you understand.
Well, the guy who comes to your high school talked about how they smoke meth. And
Wait, who is that? You had that?
You didn't
program?
have
Oh
that
my
guy?
goodness.
I had
No.
one school I went to. They had a dude come through to talk about how he used to do drugs. Except it was so wild because he talked about how he was succeeding in life and doing
He had a
well
crack pipe in his
and
back
getting
pocket.
good grades. He was describing like how he had a crippling, life-destroying drug addiction, but was also still like high functioning, which
The
I
wrong
think was
message.
like yeah, I'm just like
You could get
your
away
drug
with it.
addiction sounds awful, and this is a good cautionary tale, but it also sounds like you're bragging on being able to be addicted to drugs and have been making money and making good grades. Like, I don't want to do drugs, but like, this is
Doesn't
very.
tell me
this
that
is
it's
not
going to ruin my
you can
life.
tighten
Yeah.
you can tighten the messaging up. Like, I get that you shouldn't do drugs. There are people who are not hearing that right now. There are people who need this message a little more explicit. Now, Wes, I love hearing all of your mentality about parenting, because kids really are sponges. Even when I'm at the schools, not as often, but you just see the way kids react, especially the younger ones, and even the 5, 6, 7-year-olds, right? Everything they do and say, they didn't come up with that themselves. They picked that up somewhere. And for what it's worth, man, everything you do in Kai, you know this already. You work in education more than me, but like they're sponges, bro. Everything you do, she is absorbing it. So I respect that you setting out that foundation, because man, I've been meeting some kids who just clearly never had any home training, and I'm just like, oof,
Yeah.
man, I am grateful for my family and my upbringing, because I do have home training, and I would not be where I am in life if I did.
Home
Yeah,
training.
but that's
Are
hard
we
too,
all-
right? Because
we're just
sometimes
dogs?
respectability training, is that what it is? Just like knowing how to act in
What?
public, is that what you're saying? But like,
Yeah, y'all never heard that
nah,
term growing up, home
but some
training?
of that,
That's what you
Like,
do
yeah,
with
just
pets.
know how to
That's
act
like crate
not
training.
act like a goddamn fool when you're out in your house. Yeah, but like on the slick, like some people don't know that when you outside your house, you don't yell in public and scream and do all that ignorant shit. Like even if you're at home, okay, that's a time and place. Some people really don't know that.
yeah, and I think
definitely.
sometimes that gets a little political / judgy, and like I think there's a balance there of like, I want Kaya to be able to exist in those spaces, and I want Kaya to be able to like be shouty and loud and like indignant when like something is wrong, right? Like and not to be afraid, like, oh, I'm gonna rock the boat, so I'm not gonna say anything. And I think that's a hard. I don't know how to do that. Like we'll see if we can get that balance right at some point. But that's why it's like trying to like build herself in independence and to like work with her on like, well, here's like the boundaries of like why we're thinking about it this way. I don't know.
So you
Who
got to
knows?
rehearse that, basically. You got to have somebody do it injustice to her. Like, I'll come over and
see what
snatch
she
away
does.
the blocks
Okay.
from her. And then you got to
Yes,
model for
let's do
her,
it.
like, point in my face. Like, how dare you do that? Who do you think you are? And then she'll know
Yep.
next time that's how she should
Yeah.
respond.
Yep. And as a group of people who all have siblings, we all know better than anyone. Man, there is no one size fits all. You could have two MFs grow up in the same
Come out way
household,
different.
same family, same every upbringing, and be sun and moon opposite people. So I hope that's reassuring to you, Wes, that everything you do right, it's still up for debate, because Kaya is her own individual person. And,
It's
gotta
like, I
roll
mean,
with it.
she's
So,
gonna
good
need
luck with
therapy
that.
someday for how we brought her up. It's just like what those particular conversations are gonna be about. Who knows?
My dad was
Just
playing
the way it is.
cards
No, I don't
rather
know.
than
We don't
comforting
know.
me.
I did not think of it that way.
All right. Did we do everybody's what we're loving? I think we did. This was a
Yeah.
fun show. Thanks, Brian.
get
Thank
Street
you
Fighter.
for. I didn't realize you were, so closely observing our parenting style, but
I'm
I
taking
think
notes.
You picked out. Yeah, you picked out on the important, I think, mindset that we have or that I have at least, is trying to just, let her be independent, to like let her explore the boundaries, within a certain amount of reasonableness, and then, see where it goes from there. She's allowed to fall. And when she falls, I actually tell her good job. And sometimes I say good job and then she claps for herself. So, it's good. Like, we can't be afraid of failure. I was too crippled by that as a young individual.
Oh, correcting the sins of our fathers.
Now.
Yeah, man. I think that's,
Right.
overcorrecting maybe, perhaps, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Are you a fan? Are you a let you burn your hand on the stove to learn type? I think I burned my hand on the stove. Not like a hard burn, not like a flame burn. But I think one time I soft burned myself touching the stove. I don't think my mom like let me do it, but it was one of those just like, I was curious. I touched the hot surface. I was like, yeah, that ain't
good thing you learned that. Yeah.
Yeah, life taught me that one quick. Like, oh no, savvy, no life.
No, I mean, kids will learn that anyways, right? Like, you just end up learning that, or maybe you don't. Maybe you get far enough in life where you never accidentally did that, and then your parents can say, "This is really hot. This will hurt a lot," and then okay, I'm not going to do that. Through other experiences with fire,
or you learn how to read. Yeah. Or you learn how to read and just, okay, I know how to read to say hot surface, and I didn't get burned before I knew how to read, so I think I'm in the clear.
You got to teach Kaya.
You're like, I'm too old to get hit by a car.
ASL for fire, ASL for ouch. Have her associate the two.
Oh, she knows ouch. Done. She knows hurt. Yeah, she knows hurt. That's a useful one, actually. I didn't think it would be, but it's actually useful. All right, friends, that's a good one. We're out of here. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Later.
Y'all.